Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That's Eric over there.
Hello.
And that is Vanessa over there.
Hello.
Hi, Vanessa. You are back.
I am back.
Yay.
We missed you.
I missed you guys. I think I told you I had a dream that I did an entire episode of SAR when I was on vacation. I remember it being very stressful, and I don't know why, but it was, I mean, I was happy that I was doing SAR. So.
Oh, well, that's
Oh,
good.
man.
Do you remember the movie?
I don't.
Or the
I don't
subgenre?
remember the topic.
Yeah.
Maybe if I remember, then I'll force us to do it.
Well,
Oh,
we
okay,
should
cool.
once again thank Kim Douthit for sitting in.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, she really came in and brought a completely different dynamic. She was so
Yeah.
nice and
Wait a
friendly.
minute, what?
And
What?
just a ray of sunshine
I'm
wrapped in
nice.
beautiful skin,
I'm a
really
ray.
easy on the eyes.
Well, she is gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. She is impossible to take your eyes off of.
I got shit online from your fans saying,
yes,
hey,
yeah.
Kelly, you're only allowed to be mean to her on the air. I was like, well, you don't know our actual relationship then, do you?
It's true. Everything is true.
Can you tell us anything about your trip?
You know, there were lots of great things. I'm really
Sure.
glad I haven't had a vacation in years, and I've been working really, really hard for years. So it was awesome to get some time away.
Very cool.
And I got to do the best thing by far, night swim with manta rays.
Holy
Oh, wow.
shit.
Yeah.
Are there photos? Is there
There's
evidence?
videos.
I got to
Oh,
see
wow.
this.
Oh, my
that
God.
sounds
And
terrifying.
They're like 6 feet big.
Oh,
Like they are
jeez.
enormous. And there were 5 of them, and they started doing somersaults. And the guys are like, don't touch the manta rays. But the manta rays are like flopping on you. And
Oh,
you're like,
Jesus.
okay, cool. I'm not touching it, but it's touching me. It was
Bad touching.
it-
No, good touch. No, bad touching.
it
This is
was
the weirdest strip
magical.
show ever.
It was magical. It was
That is
truly
amazing.
very cool. So that was great. The bad side is there are just so many bugs.
Oh,
So
yeah.
many bugs. And my mom's condo, which I've stayed at a few times before in Kauai, had a roach infestation.
Oh, shit.
That's Hawaii has a roach infestation.
I've seen it occasionally here and there, but this was like the entire kitchen was owned by them.
Oh boy, that's
And
scary.
yeah, it was incredibly stressful. And we had the people come through 3 different times to bug spray. And every time we come back and it smelled like oranges, and like the bugs were just like there. They're like, I don't know what happened, but everything's good with us. So we're
Thanks
like,
for the oranges, man.
100%. So we're like putting food inside plastic bags and like just murdering roaches. I was trying to throw them outside. And like one I threw outside and I watched him run back towards the door. I closed the door, locked it, and ran up the window and stared like
Pounding on the other side of the.
my family's in there. I have children.
I have 500 kids ready for me.
And there were, I mean, it was like there were tons of little babies. So it was,
Ugh.
yeah. I was like, this is uncool. This is not cool.
Yeah.
But the rest was very good.
That's
So,
cool.
you know,
Hawaii roaches are, a different breed too. You can stomp
Yeah.
on them, and then you look down, their guts are hanging off, and they'll run away from you.
Yeah. Like,
They're
I
just
don't
like,
know
"Ugh."
what the problem is with you, but I'm going to just take my innards and go this way.
And on
Feed
top
my
of it all,
family.
when you think like you're getting used to it, they fly too.
Ugh,
So
yeah.
ugh.
These were smaller than I was used to seeing from like New York and stuff, but they were aggressive and consistent. And every time I cooked, they were like, "Hey, what's up?
What
You
got
you
dinner
melting
here?"
some butter over there? I'm gonna jump right on the
Oh,
stove.
no.
This is awesome."
Turn on the oven.
Yeah, so-
Burn the little.
oh man, I washed a lot down the sink. Just so many down. One came back out, but anyways, it's fine. It was great.
Grind.
How are things with you guys?
Hold on before we go away from Hawaii real quick,
Sure.
because, Dina wanted to know, is the shrimp station still in Kauai? Were you able to get to that?
The shrimp station.
Yeah, there's a recommended drive by the side of the road. Did you able to make it to that place?
I have to say it is so changed.
Mhm.
because between the flooding and COVID, nothing was
Oh,
recognizable.
wild.
Every restaurant I knew of was either taken over by a new place or just fully shut down, and there are food trucks everywhere now. A
Okay.
lot of the people, they may or may not have been there. There was a lot of stuff that had moved, that had closed, that had changed hands. It was bonkers. It was super wild. And two of the places that are frequent tourist places that are like open parks, you now have to get like a ticket like weeks in advance to
Oh,
go to like
Wow.
a beach or like the lighthouse.
Hmm.
So we managed to make it, but it's a very different place than it was. So a lot of stuff that I was used to seeing was not there anymore.
Huh. Try again someday.
I have it
Yeah.
on good authority, Eric, that has been changed to Cockroach Station.
Sounds like it, yes.
But
Cockroach on a stick.
the food I did have was really good.
Well, that's good. Something's going on today of recording, isn't there?
Yeah, I found out on Facebook last night
Oh, that
that there was perhaps something exciting happening today.
Well, I don't know if it's exciting. It's my birthday, you guys.
Happy birthday.
Uh,
We will not. We will.
Creeping into my 40s now, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. but,
Impressive.
Man,
as-
I'm stunned into silence.
Like, really? You tried to pull that off? Okay.
listen, on my seg sheet it says I play, 25 to 40.
Sure,
So,
yeah.
Uh, you guys know me fairly well. You can
Yeah.
probably guess that I'm not a big fan of birthdays in general.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was a little weird to celebrate something that literally every person on the planet has done. And so I have decided to instead took this from Adam Carolla. He was like, instead of celebrating your birthday, you should celebrate your achievement days, the things that you've actually done in your life that made some sense to celebrate. And with that in mind, you guys check this bad boy out.
Not
Okay,
for
what do we got
resale.
here?
That is
Oh, Widow. Nice. Sorry.
my first novella. Now, it is actually just a first draft of my first novella, but Philip Fracassi taught me to print your stuff out and correct that way. And I'm still learning how to use Illustrator and all of that stuff. So I'm going to change my margins a little bit, but it's kind of neat to see
Look at
something
the
like this
back, and you've got
Pretty
that
damn good.
incredible photo that
Carlos did.
took.
Yeah.
Oh,
On the
that's
back, yeah.
awesome. I love this.
Yeah, so that's
That's
going to be
very cool.
released in a very limited capacity because I have already expanded it to full novel size, and the novel is
Yay.
what I am currently working on, and that'll be available as a trade edition.
Hey, it's got
Oh.
indented paragraphs.
Yeah, well, I'm a stickler for that kind of stuff.
Indented paragraphs?
Sorry,
Do
that's-
people not indent paragraphs?
Well, Vanessa doesn't listen to our episodes.
Yeah, that's right. She
so,
doesn't actually listen to the show. Sorry, that was a throwback to a previous
The
episode.
lovely Andrew Byers got me a couple of books, and one of the books I really want to read, but I'm having a hard time because it is transcripts, and so the paragraphs are not indented, and I'm like,
Oh.
God, this is driving me nuts.
That would drive me crazy. That would drive me crazy. As a person who studied a lot of lit and grammar, that would bug me a lot. But
Like-
these are, I love that, like, you have some really good art in here. That's really fun.
Yeah, that probably won't translate to the novel, but for something like this, where it's going to be, this is going to be very, very limited.
Look at this piercing gaze from this handsome gentleman. Oh my God.
I
my
gotta
God.
say, Carlos, I wish I looked like the picture you took of me.
You also look very tan. I know from looking at you this very moment that you are not as tan as this. But
I've got the George Hamilton look going there. Yeah.
yeah,
There you go,
that's
yeah.
excellent. A follow-up question:
Yeah.
which church? What institution did you decide a monster needed to live beneath?
Well, I have a town called Cobb's, and this story takes place in Cobb's End. Yeah,
Love
it's
it.
a cool cover, huh? That
Yeah.
cover
It
looks
is.
great.
It looks awesome.
So I am celebrating my achievement day today, not my birthday.
Yeah.
That'll work.
It took me 54 years to come out with something that I felt like celebrating, but here I am.
I mean, I think that
Huh?
makes sense. And you're still going to celebrate it on your birthday, right? But instead of your birthday, you're thinking of all the cool things that you got done.
Well, not necessarily. Well, yes, today. I'm just saying
There you go.
I will celebrate the days that I actually accomplished things.
Yeah.
And my birthday, real easy to to pass that by.
Yeah.
I saw this meme that was like,
Good point.
why would I want to celebrate the day when all my troubles started?
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's awful.
Is this the one that I read?
Yes.
Test right now.
I think it's just
It's
like
damn good.
birthdays are just like funerals. It's not really just for you. It's for other people to celebrate you and
Very
to
cool.
get to express their gratitude for your life.
I agree with that, but if what the people who love me want to do is celebrate me, then they should know me well enough to know that I don't have that kind of self-esteem.
Look, none of us do.
Yeah.
But we all got to endure the stupid Red Robin birthday song, okay? You know, it happens and
I
we
like
just
the
have to
joke I heard about
smile.
that one time where it's like, you know who likes that? It's not the people singing. It's not the people at other tables. It's the birthday guy's friend.
It is.
Nobody
It's
else
100%.
likes those singing of your song.
Nobody.
I will say this, you guys showed up both with lovely gifts that included wine. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
A tapestry blanket of the Rock, Eric. Thank you very much.
Incredible. What a find.
And Vanessa, the most random assortment of gifts I have ever seen. I particularly enjoy the brownie.
That is a cosmic little Debbie brownie that I thought perhaps you would get some joy out of.
Is there pot in it?
I don't know. I've never had one, but it is
don't
called
know?
cosmic.
Well, I appreciate it very much, and I promise you, this I swear to you, Vanessa, this will in no way make me treat you nicer than I normally do.
Excellent. I would expect nothing less. Thank God for that. Nothing. Don't ever change, Kelly.
Shall we get to the show? 'Cause
Sure.
I saw some stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you guys saw some stuff, and I wanted to
I've seen some
discuss
stuff,
this
man.
with
Oh my
you.
God. So much stuff.
Strange New Worlds has been out for 2 episodes.
It
Oh,
has.
God.
How do we feel about it?
Oh, freaking. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Fuck, the worst 2 episodes so far.
Oh my God. Well, I've seen the first one. I didn't see the second. But I was a little confused because I heard all these people saying that like the Klingon thing is finally explained, but in that first episode they don't explain it.
No, not
They're
really.
just going back to the previous Klingon
Yeah.
look,
Right.
which is great.
Yeah, I'll tell you
No, I
what
agree.
I love about the show is Pike.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you love Pike, you don't get Pike these first 2 episodes.
I thought the second one was going to be all him. Am I
No.
crazy?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's LA Law in space.
Oh, okay.
So I have been kind of disappointed. And I also realize the thing that's bothering me about Strange New Worlds is this idea that now they are on a set trajectory.
Mhm.
Nothing bad can really happen to Spock
Mhm.
because of,
We know.
Well, yeah,
what's-
that's true for
and
him.
I wish
that's
they
for
would have
sure.
said, we're throwing everything out and we're starting from the beginning. So these might be
Right.
characters you know, but don't think that everybody's safe, and don't think that Pike has to die in 5 years, and don't think that Kirk has to come
Are
along
we
and
not on an alternative
They
timeline?
sort of put that out there about Pike, that there's
Like a way
something
potentially.
might change with him. Obviously,
but
they
then
didn't
we
with
got that
Spike.
episode.
And these are people from
Spock or the
Discovery.
Horror.
And like in Discovery, they make it really clear that Kirk and Spock are different.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's actually an alternative. So we might not honestly know what's going to happen to some of these people.
Okay, because then they
Yeah.
tied it very heavily into the original series last season with that episode that
Mhm.
had Pike commanding the Enterprise instead of Kirk at that
Yes.
time, and how it was a disaster if he's alive and at that time.
Right. So I think, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. But
I like this cast of characters so much, and the way
Yeah.
that they're so different from their original series characters. I'm just like, I don't want them to have to feel like they have to force themselves into a situation that was 50 fucking years ago now.
yeah.
Let's just start with these characters that we all kind of love and know, and do a new timeline with
Yeah.
them.
I mean, if Spock doesn't end up with Nurse, what's her name? I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
Well, how can he? That's just it. I'm like, this. I don't
Well,
like
sure
that
he
they've
could.
thrown
She
this
could
in.
be like killed or something.
She's in the original series.
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, Nurse Chapel.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
Nurse
have
Chapel,
no
that's right.
relationship.
No relationship
So,
at all at 0%. But I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, clearly they do. So,
Yeah,
God,
so
their chemistry
it's
is
a
so
different
good.
timeline. It's showing you already that it's probably a different
And Kirk is
timeline
like such
in
a
tiny
loser in
little-
this
Yeah,
series.
in tiny little ways.
I just wish they would come out and say that, so that we could all go, okay, then let's get away from this stuff that you feel kind of beholden
have to have happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think if it was railed like that, that would be pretty fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
we know how long that this ship is supposed to go for? Is it 5 years? Is it
Well,
like
we
a
know
5-year
that
mission?
Pike's accident is supposed to happen in 5 years.
Okay.
Right.
So, yeah, I
Hmm.
know.
Depends on how the show's doing. Show's doing really well.
Of
Pike will
course.
be saved. If it's in trouble, Pike. Sorry, Pike.
Look, they let Picard have 3 seasons, and
mean-
I'm glad for it.
And
I
it
am.
is Star Trek, so they could literally do the exact timeline as it's set, and then you know what? Let's change it in season 4
Yeah.
because they can.
Yeah.
They can go back and save whales at some point and
They-
not fuck up a timeline at all. So
That was one of my favorite films as a kid.
oh, that's great. That's it's a
great
fun one.
movie. But yeah, 100%. Well, I don't know what you guys haven't talked about, but I went and saw a movie that I think I really like, which is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
We did talk about this, but we have not
Okay.
talked to you about
Yeah.
this.
I was so excited and so enjoying it, and it was a real masterpiece and really awesome.
And then,
And then I had to pee because I was like, well, we're not near the 3rd act yet. So I ran out and I came back,
Oh yeah.
and then maybe 2 minutes later, the movie ended. And I have 0 problems with it being a 2-part movie, but I think they probably should have said it. Like, part
the
1.
advertising or something.
Yeah, like that kind of sucked to be like, oh, we're done? Because I was really on the roller coaster.
I could have waited to pee for that long.
I know. I was like, I missed a whole, 3 minutes of this film.
you are not alone. This was
Mhm.
my complaint with the thing also. But
Yeah.
it also, when I saw it in the theater, everybody was just like, what?
Huh?
Yes.
So they did a good job of hiding that from
They
us.
sure did. I mean, I saw a lot of kids like wearing Spider-Man costumes who were there who were just like, the fuck? But also extremely excited. And I did not realize the popularity of Miles Morales at this point. I mean, I knew they gave him the video game and I'd been aware of his comic for a little bit. But man, like they made a smart move with this this character and really digging into it, because this is something that I think a lot of kids have become attached to, have seen themselves through, have gotten to really explore, and it's such a good movie. Like it's such a fucking good movie
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
Great art.
No, geez.
Yeah.
Very cool. So the other big one that came out this last week.
Oh, we
If
might.
you watch Black Mirror,
Oh,
the new Black Mirror episode.
I have not. My brother texted me to say, you're going to like it. It's like a horror thing.
It's, with the exception of maybe an episode,
Mhm.
maybe 2, it's very much now, it's like a horror show. There's
Whoa.
very little. It
Like existential dread.
yeah, that was the best of Black Mirror. I thought was always those ones that kind of made your stomach twist a little bit, going
Yeah.
with what is this capable of,
Yeah.
and really throwing dark. Still dark. Have you watched any of them?
I didn't finish the first episode yet, but I was really enjoying it, and it did feel very dark.
Yeah, that's probably the most Black Mirror episode of the season. I watched
Hmm.
all of them, and I actually enjoyed all of them.
Mhm.
I thought there's some really neat stuff. There's some really weird stuff, but
You feel that it's not still dealing with technology, or it's horror.
I mean, like
that's all.
the last one's a flat horror film.
Really?
Hmm.
I mean, it's like a demon possession sort of story.
Wow.
Man, I can't
Um,
wait to get into this again.
It's a good one. Like I said, I enjoyed all of them, but with the exception of the first one, I'm going, this is Black Mirror, right? I'm still
That's-
watching a Black Mirror episode.
Wow.
The like Demon 79 is horror.
Mm.
Maisie Day is largely horror. Beyond the Sea, pretty much horror.
I hope the
but,
song's in there.
I
I hope the song Beyond the Sea is in the episode Beyond the Sea.
don't remember. Although the Demon 79 from Watership Down has Bright Eyes.
Oh my God.
Featured a couple times. I was like,
That's a strange
Whoa.
coincidence.
whoa.
Whoa.
But yeah, I enjoyed all of them, but they're just, it's an odd season
Yeah.
of Black Mirror.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that probably was purposeful, right? Because they're British and Watership Down is British, and they would have
Right.
grown up with knowing all that. But
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a Demon 79 is referencing the year.
Oh, I see.
So it's,
oh.
it's
Interest-
musically correct.
Wow, interesting. Well, I can't wait to check it out, but also I'm slightly weirded out because I felt like that was what made it so unique, was being all about like tech and like referencing like where our world is at. And
Hmm.
since we're now deep into the questions of AI, like this would be a great
I'd
time to
imagine
explore
the
that.
writers are, because obviously this was shot a year or more ago, probably.
Yeah.
So they're going, well, we've got some fodder for the next season.
100%.
Vanessa, were you going to talk about another multiverse movie?
I can, but I have so many things I could talk
Oh,
about.
well, let's both talk about it then.
Okay.
I saw The Flash.
Me too.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I thought there were some moments in this movie that were really good.
Yeah, actually, there were a lot of great little pieces here and there. I think the use of previous Batman.
Michael Keaton was just so nice to see him as
So
Batman again. And plus,
yeah,
he's just such a good actor that he
yeah,
elevates everything he's in.
100%. I feel like the people who were showing up, I mean, especially Michael Keaton, like really made the film sing. And I like that version of Batman. Like we kind of see, okay, see, he goes on to lead this life of kind of hippie lifestyle. He's cooking, he's painting badly, he's got a man bun. Like these are all things that were really neat to see, but he still has it and he's still got the fight in him,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. But I guess we've all forgiven what's his name?
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller.
I don't know about that, but I will say this. I don't think that he is. I think he's a great actor, or they
Yeah.
are a great actor. I don't think that they are the right actor for The Flash.
Flash, yeah. Yeah, the energy between what I've read in the comics versus what I'm seeing is vastly different.
Yeah.
It feels like they just really wanted to spin up a new, different feeling character.
They
They
should have
wanted
pulled the
to.
guy from the series. The guy who played
That's
the
what I've
Flash in the
heard.
series.
Well, so spoilers. There is an end sequence where we see the multiverse, right? And we see all the earlier incarnations of Batman and Superman and all of this stuff.
Mhm.
And for a show called The Flash, they really gave short shrift to their title character's legacy as far as film goes.
Mm.
Both Grant Gustin and John Wesley Shipp, who were the TV Flashes, they were completely ignored in that. But they did throw a generic Silver Age Flash actor in
I
that
did
that
see
had
that.
never been in any movies or anything.
That's weird.
So I didn't understand that. And you guys know me. I focus on story.
Mhm.
We never find out who killed Flash's mom,
No.
and it
Really?
infuriated me.
What a weird,
For a show
massive
that
point.
they've decided to make this about his dad being framed for his mom's murder,
Right.
Mhm.
which is something that comes from the original comics.
Yep.
Mhm.
They put that in here, even though I don't think they mentioned that at all in the previous Flash stuff we've seen in this
I
DCEU.
can't remember.
So they made this big thing,
Mhm.
and then it's just a random person, I guess. He's never caught. He's never brought up again.
Jeez.
It's never about bringing his mom's killer to justice. It's about trying to get his dad out of prison.
I think it ultimately, to me, because I was trying to puzzle this out too. When we got to the Chosen ending, Eric, have you seen
Oh,
this
I don't
movie?
care. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, spoilers. So in the end, he makes a decision that changes things enough that we have a different Batman.
Right.
And I was like, is this just all an elaborate way to be like, we don't have Ben Affleck anymore? Is this like just he's like making a decision that is not the right decision, and he's already learned from his own choices that this is not the right decision, but he makes it anyway, and it seems like he's fine with it. And to the point where we even have like a post-credit scene where he's talking to Aquaman and he's like, weirdly, you are always Aquaman in every universe. And I was like, well, that's how we learn that Jason Momoa is going to continue
Yeah.
to be like, these are all strange little hints about the future of DC.
But except that I don't think it really is. I think because I thought that Momoa had been taken. I mean, he's got this last Aquaman movie coming out,
Yeah.
but I think that he's been offered a different role going forward in James Gunn's DC.
Whoa.
So this was not part of James Gunn's?
No,
No.
there's 3 films coming out that are the last gasp of the old DC universe, and this was the first of it. Then we've got
Yeah.
Blue Beetle, which
Mhm.
should be fun. And then this
Hopefully.
third
They'll probably make
Aquaman
him
movie.
dark and gritty.
Well, it's the kid from
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
and it looks fun. The trailer
Good.
looks like a
It
lot of
does look
fun.
fun.
Good,
I
good.
feel like I almost do wonder if there's a little bit of James Gunn just kind of polishing a few of the post edits and just being like,
Mm,
I don't know about, like trying to help them not totally suck.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure. But I do see your point. I mean, I was like, the final battle of this film, he doesn't actually fight or win or anything.
No.
Like it's very anticlimactic as far as I mean I think it's an interesting story and I think it's kind of a very flash narrative, but at the same time I was like, wow, you built up this thing and then it was just like, oh, and I guess he's not going to fight it and he's not going to kill it and it's fine. I guess everything's fine.
Maybe they like, the WB Flash TV series made the death of his mother one of the cornerstones of the entire series.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And we don't feel like doing that. It's already been done. We'll do something else.
Could be.
It's so weird.
Except for this last movie that the head of Warner Brothers was saying was the greatest comic book movie ever made before it
Jesus
came out.
Christ.
And I was like, well, this can only backfire when
Yeah,
you say
that's a
something like that.
I mean,
Bad
I've
thing to
heard
say.
a lot of positive from people seeing this film. I haven't heard that many
Really,
people
I've
not
heard a
liking
lot
it.
of negative.
Really?
People thinking it's fine.
Right.
It's
yeah.
It was fine.
yeah.
It was fine. It was much, much better than Black Adam. It was like a masterpiece compared to Black Adam.
I would disagree only because I thought The Rock is much more likable as a
He's likable,
character.
but it's a bad guy character
yeah.
that is being played by a likable dude who doesn't want him to be a bad guy.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I mean,
got
no
a
argument
huge
there.
problem.
I think I had a better time with Black Adam, even though it
Mm.
was stupid and derivative and all that stuff. This one it was tough to pull myself away from the bad CGI to go, do they want it to look like this? Because it's chunky and blurry, and I can't tell what's going on in a lot of things.
Mhm.
Transformer early movie problems.
Yeah, is that something that they're doing on purpose because the Flash moves so fast that we're seeing kind of everything move this
Yeah.
fast? I
I
don't
think
know.
there's
There
a
was
weird problem that's starting to happen in a weird way in a lot of Hollywood films and non-Hollywood films where you go far enough back, the heroes were the heroes.
Mhm.
White hat, black hat, all that level of stuff. And then through the 70s and 80s, the anti-hero really kind of took over, and that continued to go for a long, long time.
Mm.
I have seen so many movies over the last couple of years where everybody's an asshole.
Yeah.
There's not even a person who's so mean you think they're cool, but they're just mean or they're
Yeah.
just dickish. And it's like, it feels like we got to make everybody loves Batman. How can we sort of make all of our heroes kind of Batman-ish
Mhm.
and not worry about the cartoon level of hero-ness that Superman should have or Shazam should have? But how do we balance that out with modern, deeply cynical filmmakers or film watchers who are totally fine with movies where you hate everybody in it?
Right.
It's very weird.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, and I think that might actually be why that first Shazam was almost like a breath of fresh
Yeah,
air
yeah.
because it was like, oh man, it's just like,
He's a kid
he's
being a
kid
superhero.
being a
Yeah.
superhero. I mean, it's very like basic and like, the problems and the things that he does, he can't be like, oh, I actually want to see the world burn. He's like, I'm homeless and I'm upset about some stuff, but no, his problems are a different level. So I think you're right. I think we spend so much time with these superheroes that they're trying to just, yeah, it's rough. Why can't people just be like, I just want to make sure that the lady crosses the street and doesn't get hit by a car? What happened to that world?
well, I'll be honest, as a film watcher, as a consumer,
Mhm.
I love the idea of these humans with superhuman powers still struggling with human problems.
Mhm.
And, so I do like seeing stuff like that,
Mhm.
but it's also derivative of each other
Yeah.
now. And there's something to be said that, this movie on its third week is already out of the number one slot by two other movies that came out before it again. And why does Across the Spider-Verse work so well
Yeah.
Because
and
we
Flash
really
doesn't.
like those characters.
We
You
love
know,
those.
they're really fun.
They spend so much time on it. Like they have good writing, they have good acting, they have great art, they have unique ideas, and they're not afraid. Like
Yeah.
that first Spider-Verse movie it was supposed to be straight to DVD,
Right.
like bullshit, whatever. And they're
Mhm.
like, hey, we have something here. Let's redo all of the art and put it in theaters. Like every piece of that was a risk.
Yeah.
And if you don't take risks and you want to just have money, then you're gonna get derivative shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
good
bound
way
to
of putting it.
happen.
Really good way of putting it.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I walked out of this going, I think I might be done with superhero films. But then I had to think back that, well, wait a second.
But there's
As
all
angry
this.
as I was at the cliffhanger of Spider-Man, I just had such a good time with that movie. So it's not that I'm done with superhero films, but I am done with whatever this kind of superhero film
Yeah.
is.
Whatever is going on in the.
Because I tried to watch that new Shazam. It's on HBO Max, and
It's
all the
rough.
stuff that you were talking about. And I was like, God, it's almost impossible to get through. I haven't finished it.
Jeez.
It's a slog. I will say, I mean, I think, I'm not done with superhero stuff, but I'm getting pretty tired. Like I watched the new Nick Fury
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
show, and I was like, I fucking don't care. I could care less.
Yeah, that was a snooze fest too, though.
Was it?
So
Boring. I was like, Sam, I love you. Great, glad you're still getting work, but you put on a few and you're supposed to be like an action hero through this whole thing, and I don't believe it for a second.
well, I'm like angry that they've relegated him to stuff like this, and I'm like, how come I don't get
Yeah.
Sam Jackson's Nick Fury in in Black Panther? Why isn't he
Right.
not a character in this movie? He
Mhm.
should be part of this.
Yeah.
So
Nick Fury should sort of be around almost every Marvel movie in some form or another. That's just what Shield does.
But
But
he
a
was in
movie that is
space.
black centric, you think he would
Yeah.
absolutely be a part of it. If I was him, I'd be like, how come you guys are sticking me in this shit and not getting me in your good movies?
I bet.
Yes.
I bet not knowing him, but assuming what I know about him, he probably had just such a conversation. But yeah, I don't know.
We'll give you your own
it's
series.
exhausting.
Okay, fine. I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually his consolation prize. That's what I was going to talk about, I guess, was really that.
Oh, all right.
So
Eric,
Okay, I'll totally change the mood then.
thank you.
I
Eric.
watched Death Wish 4.
Whoa, Death Wish
You know
4,
what?
right?
I watched the first 3 a while back and kind of got tired of them because they were still trying to recapture the first one in the 2 sequels. The fourth one is like a fun movie. It's not supposed to be fun.
I'm trying to remember what happens. Is it now? I'm not making a joke here. Is this the one where his nanny is killed and he has to revenge, like his maid
What?
takes care of his kid?
He
What?
started dating a new woman, and his daughter or her daughter gets overdoses on drugs. A lot of it takes part in like this weird little Dave and Buster's kind of place where there's gaming and people playing games and riding bumper cars and shit like that.
They're really running out of people in his life to kill or rape so that he could go
And
out and take revenge.
And they don't give a shit. They kill everybody that's around him that he likes in this one. It's like, it seems, he's going to, no, he didn't even save her at the end. All right. But it's so funny because it's so way over the top. It starts with a segment of a lady walking out to her car, and then there's a shot of some guy standing over, like in a spotlight, almost overhead spotlight with a mask on. She's like, gets into her car. She looks back. There's 2 guys. She gets into her car, looks back. There's 3 guys.
Oh my God.
And the whole thing
multiplying.
progresses, and it turns out he's having a dream.
Oh my God.
Wait a second. So he was dreaming about the girl.
Some rando lady who gets killed in his dream, and it's just there's nobody else. Nothing in the real world is related to what happened in that dream. You don't even get, like, I thought there's going to be a callback to he does something in a parking garage someplace later or something, but nope. Just the dream, just a chance to kill off 3 people early on.
That's magical. That's truly magical.
Was this a canon film?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's like 87, 88, somewhere around in there,
the last
I think.
gasp. Wow.
And it was honestly fun to watch, at least. It's not good. and he is just walking through this movie.
Yeah.
Man. It is so funny. But so yeah, if you've given up on Death Wish after 2 and 3, which really weren't very good or entertaining,
No.
this is a fun return to stupid, whatever you want to call it.
2 is downright slimy and tough to watch.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
that one's not nice.
You know, our buddy Wade Chitwood introduced me to a movie called Hard Times.
Oh, yeah.
It was directed by Walter Hill and stars a young Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
And my older sister, always had a crush on him.
Oh, okay.
But I only knew him from the Death Wish movies and later, and I was just like, I don't see it. I'm not sure what you're seeing in this guy. But in Hard Times, he is a handsome, slender man, and I was like, this guy is crush-worthy.
Kind of like watching the Dogs of War a couple weeks ago with Christopher Walken.
Right.
I'm going, Jesus, who is this guy?
Different looking dude.
Right. Well, how about we take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking goth movies.
They're squirmy and wormy and purple and green, the grossest little creatures that you've ever seen.
Creepy crawlers.
Build a monster mold with the colored plastic goop and make a creepy crawler from a yucky monster soup. They're yucky, squirmy, wormy, very scary, sometimes hairy, squiggly, wiggly, creepy crawling.
Creepy crawlers.
Gross out your sister, embarrass your dad. You can be a little creep without being bad.
Creepy Crawlers Workshop with plastic goof.
And we have returned. Vanessa, we made you choose this on the last episode because we didn't know whose turn it actually was. We were like, oh, fuck Vanessa. She's been on vacation this whole time. Let's just make it her choice.
It's fair. It definitely, I have to say, I only came back a couple days ago, so I was rushing a little bit here, but...
come on, you always watch these movies at like 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
The night before.
I usually watch one on Thursday and one on Friday or Saturday, but
What
yeah.
can you tell? Because since we didn't know, the listeners don't know what the subgenre
Yeah,
is.
so the subgenre that I chose was goth. Anything that has some kind of goth feel to it, preferably like the clothing Black Island or leather version of goth rather than the, Frankenstein
Gothic.
Which I discovered when trying to find goth movies was a real killer of the search engines. But yeah, so I went with that and chose a film that I had never heard of before. Sounded kind of interesting, which was the 1990 movie Mirror, Mirror.
Behind this glass lies a century of terror. An evil force awaiting her deadly command.
The mirror is using her.
Ghosts do not exist. I felt something. Like something was controlling it, making it happen.
I told you, she is back.
You can't just leave like that.
I gotta think this through.
Can he just leave like that?
What the hell is going on?
The rumors are true. There is something haunting Leatherworth House. Only it's not a ghost. It gave me powers. And those powers can be for you too, Nikki. I'm bleeding. Are you trying to say that you had something to do with this? Well, let's just say that you and me are innocent. What was all that racket? I can control it now. See? Control. I can stop it. Or I can start it. Stop it! I don't know
Mirror, mirror,
Starring William Sanderson, Karen Black, and introducing Rainbow Harvest.
There you go. It's
Timer
happening.
getting set.
God, I forgot about this. Oh man, it's so close to me.
Memory.
You know, Kim had it nailed with the timer the first time.
Shut your face hole.
She's gonna throw
Jesus.
something at you, man.
All right. Look, we can't be all as perfect as some other people that exist on this planet. So, Mirror, Mirror. No critic, Rotten Tomato, 31% audience. Budget box office, could not find anything. Directed by Marina Sargentini, who has 6 credits to her name, including the Models Inc. TV show she worked on a few episodes, Child of Darkness, Child of Light, and The Lying Eyes, both TV movies. And she did a little bit of Xena Princess Warrior. So it sounds like she has a really skint resume, but actually she has a ton of commercial and music video credits, and this started her career off. Written by Annette Cascone and Gina Cascone, who I assume are related, and they wrote up to 4 sequels for this, so not a ton of other credits. And then Yuri Zetzler, who has 10 credits to their name, including The Circle, High Crimes, Black and White, Midnight Edition, and Eye of the Storm. Starring Rainbow Harvest, who plays the titular Gothic character in this. She has 11 credits to her name, mostly TV movies. Earth Angel, Pink Lightning, 9 episodes of something called FM, and she stopped acting in 1991, which was 1 year after this movie came out. Kristen Datillo has 67 credits to her name, including the Aerosmith video Janie's Got a Gun as Janie. 47 episodes of the Chris Isaac Show, which I did not know existed. 9 episodes of Dexter, and just a ton of TV work. And Karen Black is probably the most recognizable person on here. 206 credits, including Easy Rider, 5 Easy Pieces, Great Gatsby, Airport 1975, House of a Thousand Corpses, and a lot of C/D list movies. Also, Yvonne DiCarlo, who plays this kind of older lady, you would know her from The Munsters as Lily Munster. Also, randomly, William Sanderson, who plays the Pet Cemetery guy who shows up to take the dead animal away. 135 credits, including 36 episodes of Deadwood, 39 episodes of True Blood, and Blade Runner. So, a small role, but, you know, I was like, who's this weird dude? Oh, you have credits. The story is after her father dies, Megan and her mother move into a new home on the advice of a therapist. They bring with them 2 dogs, which they also got on the advice of a therapist. The mom immediately starts looking to make their life better, kind of ignoring the death of her husband and putting Megan very much second. Megan is going to a new school, but as an intense ass goth, with a capital G. She's wearing some weird, bold shit in this. She doesn't fit in. Strange. However, one student named Nikki takes her under her wing against the advice of Nikki's boyfriend, Ron, and sees that she's being picked on and basically creates a pet project out of her. She wants her to have a good time. The two become fast friends. They do everything together, but despite hanging out with some pretty cool people, because they are, Nikki and Ron, Megan is still picked on and made fun of. Left behind in her room from the previous owner is this old mirror, and Megan discovers a strange kind of pull and connection to it. She just becomes extremely attached to it, starts, licking it, normal stuff.
Jesus.
Man, I know. When people are mean to her, her angry thoughts to them become real. They choke, they have heart attacks, bad things happen, and she realizes that the mirror is helping her to hurt people. She tries to control it and use it to actually enact specific revenge to those around her, but it sort of starts taking over. Weird. After Nikki loses a class election, her opponent is steamed to death in the girls' locker room, and Megan says, "You're welcome." Nikki freaks out and tries to sever her friendship with Megan, just on that alone. But Megan goes on a killing spree, getting rid of those around Nikki and Nikki's life, making it so it can just be Nikki and her. Nikki consults with those who know about the house and the previous owner, any of the history of it, because it was rumored the previous owner was into witchcraft and possibly killed her own sister. An antique dealer had read over this lady's diaries and gives her advice on how to defeat the mirror, which is controlled by a demon. But when Nikki gets there, it is maybe too late. Megan has lost full control. The mirror has taken everything and everyone around her. It's doing a full poltergeist in the house. Lots of things are flying around, lots of crazy colors. And Nikki and Megan kind of sort of have to work together to try and stop the mirror, maybe, but maybe it's too late. So who knows? Anyway. This is a film with a really cool concept. The use of the mirror in it is really creepy. They have a lot of slow-mo, backwards talking, mirror POV. The weird, sexy blood licking off of the mirror is interesting. uh, they also have a very heavy female film, which I'll get into more later. Some of the acting is pretty good. The boyfriend Ron, surprise, fun dude.
Oh, wow.
He makes a sandwich in one scene and is probably the best scene in the whole film. He's just like, he's having such a good time. But for the most part, I didn't love it. It feels like they stole a lot of the Carrie style. They have a lot of slow-mo, teens in locker rooms, kind of romanticizing gaze, but it's not as good. I don't know, it just felt like a little bit of a play by numbers horror film. But it did end up getting a lot of praise. I think honestly, one of the problems with it is the music is god awful. Like no matter what you're seeing on screen, the music is so bad and it's so terrible that it really makes it cheesy and probably de-escalates de-escalates. It's pretty hardcore. Feels like the ending could have been really cool. It was close. It thought about it. It got near it, and then it kind of took a left turn at the last minute.
I like that it thought about it.
It thought about it. It was looking at it straight in the eyes and went, "Not today. Not today." Good ending. A little bit of trivia. The film initially was titled The Black Glass. It was shot in LA, and Zelda Rubinstein was originally slated to make an appearance in the film, but dropped out over mysterious reasons. The cast and crew were approximately 60% female. So they really went out of their way to make this a feminist led piece, which is pretty interesting. It screened at Cannes Film Fest in 1990.
Oh, wow.
And then later in the US, started off in Detroit. Critical reception was mixed. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B-. Timothy Sherry of the book Generation Multiplex said, "This is one of the best teen horror films in general and an example of the tyranny of teen popularity." Creature Feature panned it with 2 stars, saying, "Compendium of cliches." I think that's the thing. I think if you didn't watch horror movies at that time, you might have watched this and gone, "Oh, they have some ideas in here. It's kind of interesting. They've got some like cool shots. Wow." But if you'd seen any horror films at all, it's like, I don't know. Tagline: a shocking reflection of evil in the tradition of Carrie and Heathers.
Heathers? Okay.
And also a reflection of pure terror. Featured director debut for Marina Sargentini. Like I said, she went on to get really into music videos and commercials. It had 3 sequels, including Mirror, Mirror, Raven Dance, Mirror, Mirror 3, The Voyeur, and Mirror, Mirror 4, Reflection.
Are you waiting for the Shout Factory box set of this collection?
I think Anchor Bay put out a box set already, so beat them to it. Mostly negative about all the sequels, except for apparently the second film does have an appearance by Mark Ruffalo. So that was my film.
You didn't talk about one of the cool parts of the movie. The VHS box. It's a big old mirror. The mirror itself was a reflective surface on the VHS box.
I had no idea. That's cool. That's
one of those unique ones. Not as cool as like Grabber or whatever. But
Oh, right.
yeah, kind of fun.
That's awesome.
I remember this movie being just really boring.
It wasn't great. I mean, like there's some decent deaths and, but like I was mostly fascinated by her costumes and like her makeup. I was like, damn girl, her hair changes pretty dramatically throughout the film. She has like a side shave and part of her hair is dyed one color. And then like the next day at school, it's all just like long and curly.
Wow.
I was like, whoa, all right, cool.
The mirror has bonuses.
The mirror knows how to make you look good.
Well, look at how on top of things she is there. She comes in here, just boom, boom, boom.
Vacation do you well.
Next
Well.
week, she'll be like, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. I'll see you guys later.
No, I'm here. I'm back.
I'm just going to
You should
not.
just. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, look at that timing. Wow.
Incredible.
I was going to save the listener because sometimes I will listen to our episodes in my car.
Mhm.
And when the buzzer goes off, it
Scares the
fucking
crap out of you.
scares the shit out of me.
I will say this one's going to be especially great because you brought it right underneath your mic when it went off. So that'll be fun for everybody.
Eric, you want to go next?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
The enthusiasm.
Well, no, anyways. So my choice, Ronnie, considering your comment earlier, suburban gothic.
Yeah.
I came here because I need a job. I'm literally on the verge of having to move back in with my parents, and I don't want to do that.
Moving back in with your parents right now doesn't sound like such a bad idea.
I don't know how to say this without sounding terrible, but you're the worst guidance counselor ever.
Lose the scarf. Freak.
Your father and I were wondering if we could buy you a couple new outfits for your stay.
We recognize your more European approach to fashion.
Well, Dad, I'm good.
Lay off him, Pope. You don't remember me, do you? Raymond. You're the only guy to come through town that I consider sleeping with, and you're ruining it. So you still believe in all the paranormal stuff?
I've experienced it firsthand. I used to see ghosts regularly, and then just suddenly it stopped.
Sounds like you have an amazing gift. Why don't you pursue a career in the paranormal?
I only came here to warn you. There is an evil spirit lurking on your property. Good luck. This got me out of a lot of hairy situations.
Aren't you supposed to communicate with the dead? Really have to wear this?
Shh, keep your voice down. You're gonna wake up my dad.
I'm not riding in this thing again until you get new tags. Do you have any idea how many drugs I have on me right now?
Well, I believe we're done here then.
From 2014. I gotta say, this has a surprisingly high rating from the critics of 64. The crowd has it at 41, which I think is much closer to the film. No idea what the budget or box office was, but it wasn't very large. And another sign that the movie's kind of sitting in a weird place, it was only available on Plex.
Oh my God.
As a free watch on Plex.
Whoa.
Let me tell you, now Tubi had some ads. Plex ups that. Like, oh my God. Every ad break is 7 ads and all this stuff. And they do, the Tubi gives you that nice little note so you know when they're hitting an ad break coming up. Nothing.
You're just
I was
in
like,
it.
oh man. So hopefully I won't use this again. Lots to say about the movie, can you tell? Directed by Richard Banks Jr., who did actually Excision, which I think is an incredibly good film.
Not familiar.
Trash Fire and King Knight. He also wrote all of the above, including this one, along with Mark Brunner, who wrote an episode of Criminal Minds, which is relevant, as you'll see coming up, and 43 episodes of the ridiculously underrated DC Legends of Tomorrow TV show, which after it got going after a season or two became fantastic.
I heard that.
And 2 episodes of Under the Dome.
Oh boy.
Not quite as
Woof.
flashy. Okay, the main star of this, and yes, I did watch Criminal Minds, wife and I enjoy some of those criminal things, is Matthew Gray Gubler, at least I say, who was in 323 episodes of Criminal
Whoa.
Minds. He played
Whoa.
the nerdy smart guy
Okay.
who, when the show ended, went through this weird little renaissance of people really loving him and talking about, because he's a strange guy. He's a really interesting, weird dude. And I think that's why he did this movie. But he's in almost all of Richard Bates' movies and is the voice of Simon from Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh.
And also from Kate Dennings from a show I've never watched, 138 episodes of Two Broke Girls.
Yep.
And 14 episodes of Big Mouth. She plays one of the creatures,
Is this Kat Denning?
Kat Dennings, I mean, yeah.
Is
She's
this a
from Marvel.
big? Yeah, is this a big movie?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a very low budget.
I thought it was. Yeah.
You'll continue with that knowledge when I say Ray Weiss plays his dad, plays Matthew's dad in this movie. You might know him from Twin Peaks,
Yeah.
RoboCop, Dead End, and another criminally underrated show, 31 episodes of Reaper, where he played the devil. And he's also in Big Mouth. John Waters has a cameo, which is fun. Sally Kirkland is also in it from JFK, The Sting, one episode of Criminal Minds, 262 productions overall. And Jeffrey Combs and Ray Santiago from Ash vs. Evil Dead are in it. Phillips McKenzie.
Jesus.
And the cast is ridiculous.
God.
And that is kind of the saving grace of the movie, is the cast does a lion's share of lifting this movie up. Basically, it starts with Matthew looking for a job, and he is desperate because if he doesn't, he has to move back in with his parents. His dad, played by Ray Weiss, is Shelley positioned this as his incredibly racist dad.
Oh dear.
And the movie has an interesting style, super bright colors, very kind of Greenaway and Wes Anderson style, where it's straight on camera angles and lots of colorful stuff in certain segments. They do a neat thing in the montage where they do like a focus point where the person is in focus or part of the person, and most of the stuff around him is blurred out. It looks kind of neat, and it's never overused, so that's nice. He starts having dark, weird, creepy demon dreams. Apparently, when he was young, he saw lots of ghosts, and then he moved away and didn't see them so much anymore. So far, I wrote this about 20, 30 minutes into it. This is kind of a decent film. It's very much an art house comedy. So if you like that, you might like this a little bit more than I did.
An
But
art
if you like
house comedy.
Matthew, he does a great job. He is really quirky and fun, surprisingly funny, and he meets Kat Dennings at a bar, and she is the goth of the movie. She's all gothed out and looking that way. And she's fun. She does the stuff she's given well, and also has probably one of the strangest dance scenes I've seen between her and him dancing to jukebox music or something. Very weird. Goes right into that art house thing I was talking about. The movie changes to or kicks in a little bit more when the people working in the yard discover a buried baby, and one of the people in the baby might have taken something. So he starts seeing and this is where the movie really falls. The ghost story in this film is so by the book and so by the numbers, even when things are done well, and it's got some fun little effects and some fun things done with it. It is so cookie cutter that it's like, okay, that's disappointing. Again, all the performers give it their all. They all have great moments. There's all good stuff that happened in this. This feels like that movie where if the writer had taken it to somebody who'd written a lot of ghost stories and said, hey, can you give me some advice on this? It could have been really punched up into something really interesting, which makes it even more frustrating to watch as a film. Most of the rest of the movie is him trying to figure out who the kid is, why the coffin's there. They even look at microfiche at one point. and the dad being a complete dick. There's a bonus because one of the weird bands I liked in high school has the punk rock girl from the Dead Milkmen is featured in the credits, which plays into the cliche element though of playing punk rock girl in a movie with a goth lead female. The tagline is "The dead end town just got a lot deader."
Aw. Aw.
Yeah.
Oof.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, the low budget too shows through in a lot of the stuff. I kind of wish there was a lot less. One or two things needed to be done here. It's kind of got that problem. The Vampire in Brooklyn, I think it was called, the Wes Craven movie, where it's like, well, be a horror movie or be a comedy or melt them together a little bit better. Where it's like scene to scene. Oh, this is a comedy. Oh, now we're in a horror movie. This is and this needs to be either less daddy issues or more ghosts or the other way around. It did world premiere at Fantasia International Film Festival. And, there's not a lot about it out there otherwise. I'd been curious to see it because he's a fun actor. He was interesting on Criminal Minds. And he's interesting on this. There's scenes where bullies from his high school discover he's back in town, and their interactions are kind of fun. There are a lot of really good moments in the movie. So it kind of sits in the middle of being, oh, it's fine.
When you started listing off the cast, I thought that this was like a straight to video or something like that. It popped up on my search too, and I was like, "Nah, I mean, I hate myself, but I don't hate myself this much." So,
I remember it like floating around, but I had no concept that it was a comedy.
Well, there's that brief period where Matthew became kind of an internet guy where the internet discovered him and thought he was really cool because
Yeah.
he's very quirky. His house is really cool and really strange. And he's just really an interesting person.
Mm.
And so that popped up, and that was about the time this movie was coming out as well. So it may have crossed around and stuff. But yeah, a missed opportunity.
do you think that the somewhat sounding high Rotten Tomatoes is because of him?
Yeah.
Just his
Oh,
goodwill?
definitely. Him and Kat are fun on screen when they're on screen, and him and Ray Weiss are really good on screen together. Like I said, there are so many moments that could have been so much better, and the guy from Ash vs. Evil Dead showed his comedy chops nicely in this. So it's. I wish the writer, because like I said, Excision is a really well done film.
Mm.
So I wanted like another pass on this script would have helped it a lot.
Well, I do have a bit of a crush on Kat Dennings, and seeing her as a goth might be enough to make me at least fast forward through this movie.
Sure.
Oh
Yeah,
my
there's
God.
that.
She's slightly annoying to me, but I salute you, sir.
I could
Well-
understand that too, actually.
Speaking of women that I have a crush on,
Uh-oh.
I chose for my goth movie from 1998, Bride of Chucky.
Well, hello, Dolly.
Chucky's back. But this time, there's more to fear. Because this time, he's got a playmate of his own. Bride of Chucky.
Nice. One of my favorites from the series.
Yeah, budget of $25 million, box office of $51 million worldwide. The Rotten Tomatoes critics give it 47%, and the audience gives it 49%. And I thought this was beloved, but I guess not.
Yeah, I guess not.
And
Oh,
then when
well.
I get into the trivia, there was something there that I thought was very interesting. This directed by Ronnie Yu, who has 21 credits. He's a Hong Kong filmmaker. He did The Postman Strikes Back, The Bride with White Hair, but he also did Freddy vs. Jason.
Uh-huh.
It's written by Don Mancini, of course, who has 24 writing credits, including Cellar Dweller, a couple episodes of Channel Zero and Hannibal, and all the Chucky movies and TV series and all that stuff. It stars Jennifer Tilly, 129 credits, including Bound, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky, and the Chucky TV series. Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky. He has 172 credits, all of the Chucky stuff. The Two Towers, Exorcist 3, Alien Resurrection. Katherine Heigl.
Really?
Poor Katherine Heigl.
Forgot she was in this.
50 credits, including Under Siege, Valentine, 61 episodes of Roswell, 120 episodes of Grey's Anatomy. Nick Stabile is in this. He's got 27 credits, including Descendant, Dead White, tons of television, mostly soaps. So like Passions, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital. And John Ritter is in this. 143 credits, including Sling Blade, Problem Child, the It miniseries, and 172 episodes of Three's Company. Okay, here we go. You've both seen this movie.
No.
You haven't seen this movie, Vanessa?
I've only seen the first one and the remake.
Wow.
The first one's okay. The remake is not. But the Chucky flavor that we know and love starts with this movie.
Oh, cool.
So we open on a police officer going through an evidence warehouse, and it's kind of a cutesy scene where he goes past Jason's hockey mask and Michael's Halloween mask and Freddy's glove and stuff like that before he finally gets to a particular locker and he pulls a small bag out of it. And he then goes to meet the woman who has bribed him to retrieve this evidence for him, and it is Tiffany Valentine, played by Jennifer Tilly, at her smoking hottest, you guys, in a pencil skirt, movie star makeup, bright blonde hair, and she slits the cop's throat and takes the bag back to her trailer park trailer. In the trailer, we watch her pull out all of the pieces of Chucky, presumably destroyed in the last movie, and she carefully stitches him back together and gets him new clothes and everything, and then performs a voodoo ritual to bring him back to life. And she is using a book. It's one of those For Dummies books with the yellow thing. So it's Voodoo for Dummies. And this is this in the evidence room kind of shows you how the movie is going to play out. This has got a very comedic flavor to it now, kind of campy. It's definitely a horror film, but it does not take itself seriously. And I believe this is the fourth entry in the franchise. So they had to do 3 movies with the little kid and the doll before they kind of realized what they wanted to do. And it's neat because it's Henry Mancini, who's not Henry Mancini. Who? Don Mancini. Yeah. Music by Henry Mancini would have been awesome, though. Don Mancini kind of figured out what he wanted to do with this series. So anyway, she thinks the ritual has failed, but when her goth admirer, Damien, shows up looking to get some action, Chucky comes to life and kills him. Chucky is very grateful for Tiffany reviving him, but in a neat twist, Tiffany locks him in a cage. And we find out that she and Charles Lee Ray, who is the human that Chucky was before he got stuck in the doll, they were an item before he got his soul transferred to the doll. And he treated her horribly, so she brought him back to life to punish him.
Excellent.
Yeah. And in a cruel move, she even throws in a dolly in a wedding dress to tease him. And that's all fine and good, except that, of course, Chucky escapes and kills Tiffany in the bathtub and then puts her soul in the bride doll. She is horrified, as expected, but once she gets used to the idea, she decides to trick herself out and turns the bride doll into a goth princess.
Yeah, dude.
So that's the beginning of the movie. There's a secondary storyline that is going on around the same time of this, and they both intertwine. So the second storyline is about Jade and Jesse, who are 2 young star-crossed lovers that are being kept apart by Jade's uncle, John Ritter, who is just a real asshole sheriff. And he's trying to frame Jesse and plant drugs on his van and all this stuff to get him thrown into prison and out of Jade's life. Tiffany has fooled Jesse into transporting the 2 dolls, which he thinks are just ugly regular dolls, to New York, where they can get to Charles Lee Ray's body and get the amulet that will allow them to transfer their souls to human bodies again. And Jesse decides that this is a great way for him and Jade to make their escape out of their small town and into New York, not realizing that the whole thing is that Chucky and Tiffany plan to transfer their souls into the bodies of Jesse and Jade at the end of this trip. So now we've got these 2 stories wrapped together. Jesse and Jade are on the run, and there's a body count being built up behind them because everywhere they stop, Chucky and Tiffany murder a bunch of people.
Sure.
And so not only do the cops think that Jesse and Jade are killing all these people, Jesse and Jade are starting to suspect each other of being murderers.
Oh my God.
Because they're starting to see that they're wanted for all these murders, and they're never with each other when something happens. So they're starting to not trust each other. And then at one point, they meet with a mutual friend of theirs who discovers her uncle's dead body, the sheriff, in their van. They were not aware of this because he had gone to plant some drugs in the van, and Chucky and Tiffany killed him and then stashed his body deeper in the van. So the friend now thinks that Jesse and Jade are the murderers, and he pulls a gun on them, and that's when Chucky and Tiffany reveal themselves. After killing the friend, Jesse and Jade are then forced to continue the trek where they realize what their planned fate is going to be. Will they be able to stop Chucky and Tiffany?
Tuffany.
Chuck and Tuffany. I like that. That sounds
Take
good.
2. Will they be able to stop Chucky and Tiffany from completing their plan? Yeah. The tonal change in this film works because you're rooting for both Jade and Jesse, but also Tiffany, who has a soft spot for the young lovers, and she's starting to realize that the dolls can't go through with their nefarious plans. Will Chucky be killed once and for all, finally? Or will he yell as he's about to be killed, "I'll come back. I always come back." And will a disgusting and burned Tiffany doll give birth to a baby Chucky doll monster in the final scene of the movie? Hell yeah, she will.
Oh my God.
This movie is just a ton of fun, you guys. It's super gory. It's way over the top. Really meta. At one point, when Jesse asks how Charles' soul got stuck in a Chucky doll, Chucky says, "It's a long story. If it were turned into a film, it would probably need 2 or 3 sequels to do it justice."
Oh my God.
And Jennifer Tilly is so ridiculously hot in this that it makes my teeth ache. There are taglines. Chucky gets lucky.
To the point.
I didn't like it. The one I did love?
Yes.
The honeymoon's gonna be killer.
There you go.
Some trivia. This was Brad Dourif's personal favorite Child's Play movie until Curse of Chucky was released. Each doll required 7 puppeteers to manipulate, a computer playback operator, and a puppet coordinator to act as liaison between the operators and the director. 3 puppeteers handled the movement of each doll's facial features, which were relayed through the use of a radio-controlled transmitter. All of the doll's other below-the-head movements were cable-operated by the rest of the puppeteers.
Wow.
So this one I thought was interesting. Some fans refused to accept this film or any other Chucky film that came after to be in canon with the previous 3, although the backlash for this one isn't considered as bad as its sequel, Seed of Chucky. Curse of Chucky goes back to the more straightforward horror of Child's Play in an attempt to win back the crowd while retaining certain elements of Bride and Seed. I did not realize there was a backlash to this movie. I thought this was a celebrated return of a franchise.
I wonder if it's kind of like my reaction was I'm lukewarm on the original Chucky films.
Right.
And I thought this was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's like if you're a huge fan of the original, you had the opposite reaction.
It was dark and funny, had an amazing soundtrack.
Yeah.
Just a really cool movie. I remember seeing this in the theater with my roommate at the time, and we walked out going, "That was not supposed to be that good, was it?"
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt about it. It's like the Fast and the Furious franchise. You get to number 5, it's a totally different thing.
I don't think that it's like the Fast and Furious franchise.
Well, I will have to check it out at some point.
Yeah. Have you made a conscious effort to just not watch these movies?
No, it just hasn't really come up. I think I made a conscious effort to finally watch the first one.
Okay.
And then I heard the show was excellent and was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
Yes.
going to watch all of them. And then I never got around to it. So it's just,
I think Bride of Chucky is really good.
Yeah.
Seed of Chucky is not very good.
Yeah.
And then Cult of Chucky, I think I liked quite a bit. But the TV series is a lot of fun and right up your alley.
It's really good. Yeah.
Okay, that means, Eric, you've got the next subgenre pick.
Dude, that's right. What is it? What am I talking about? Let's do, well, comedy weirdness. You just had the dark, twisted comedy.
Right.
Let's do a whole episode of dark and twisty comedy films.
oh,
I can dig that. I know Vanessa is a huge fan of comedy.
I love comedy. Can't wait for this.
Vanessa, it is so nice to look over and see you in your regular spot. Just have you
Yes.
here
Yep.
scowling at every joke I make.
Oh, it's nice to be back.
Contributing great humor when you talk about how much you hate comedy.
Look, I'm not, I don't have it in me. I don't know why. Fine.
All right. This is the part where I thank everybody for liking, sharing our posts, participating in the value for value model, all of that stuff. We really, really appreciate it.
That's right. And you know what? Micah sent something.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and he gave a challenge film to you,
To
Vanessa.
me? Oh,
Let
my
me
God.
pull up the message here.
Oh, my God.
It's that time again. This time with a rare Vanessa request
Oh,
for Down, aka The Shaft, featuring Naomi Watts' worst performance and further proof that James Marshall's agent hated his guts. Pretty sure she already has it on Blu-ray, but it is on Amazon.
Oh, my God. He probably gave it to me.
Does he leave movies in your freezer?
No, he gives me a lot of movies as gifts, which is incredibly awesome, but then I end up not getting as much time as I want to see
Well,
them all,
sure.
so.
The Shaft. I can't wait to hear what you think of this. I've watched this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so stoked. I don't know why. Why this? Why me? I'm so confused. I guess, do we need to have a topic around it at all? Or
No, I don't think so.
I'm just going to watch this and talk about it next week.
Although, getting into like high-rise horror might be kind of an interesting topic.
That could be.
There's some movies that spring immediately to mind with that one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, well, that is the show. Thank you, everybody. You can also leave us a message at 253-237-4266 if you want to say how much you like having Vanessa back or anything like that.
I can confirm that number does work.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could call it.
Yes. You know what? I had a great bit where Vanessa was going to call in anonymously and just say how much she was not enjoying the replacement.
I
for
never
her.
agreed to doing that.
And this is, So instead,
I didn't do it. I didn't do the thing that you thought was really funny and clever. I'm sorry.
I know. Well, one of us is an idea guy.
One of us has to execute those ideas. And guess what?
We will be back in 7 short days with more of Vanessa's lack of sense of humor.
You're welcome.
So until then, see you on Thursday.
Transportation and other considerations for Strange Eons Radio produced by Pan Am Airlines. When you think of traveling, think of Pan Am. You can't beat the experience. Guests of Strange Eons Radio stay at Econo Lodge Everett. It's an easy stop on the road, if you know what we mean. Strange Eons Radio is recorded live in front of a studio audience. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a positive review on your favorite podcast app. Sit, Ubu, sit.
I love comedy.